I'm just Nick, and this is the Snazzy FX Wow and Flutter. So this is a pretty interesting and unique pedal. I know I call a lot of things unique because everything's really unique if you think about it, but this thing is super unique. Here's the deal. It's a really nice atmospheric delay, goes up to about 1/3 of a second, and sounds just delay-ishous in general. But added to this delay is this circuit that sort of recalls a slightly messed up cassette or reel-to-reel tape player. And that's the Wow and Flutter Circuit. And what it does is it pitch shifts just the just the repeats of the delay. And you can control with your fingers how it pitch shifts the repeats because it responds to the strength of the signal, and therefore you're playing dynamics. So if I pick softly, I just get pretty much unaffected repeats. If I hit the strings hard, I get this pitch shifting. And so that means that I can combine straight repeats with this, kind of harmonic interest of actually changing the pitch of the repeats, which is pretty cool because it can be controlled with your fingers, and anything you can control with your fingers is a good thing. So you have standard controls for delay. You have the delay time, which goes from very short, reverby type slappy effects up to that 1/3 of a second you were hearing just a minute ago. You have a feedback control, which goes from single repeats all the way up to pretty long trails. It won't go into self-oscillation or, infinite feedback, but it goes pretty long. You have a dry-wet control that enables you to go from repeats only to just the dry signal and anything in between, of course. And you have, sort of unique for a delay pedal, a volume and gain knob, which are particularly useful because they'll allow you to use this pedal with different types of instruments and perhaps even with vocals if you have a way of, impedance matching to run a vocal into a guitar pedal. So it'll allow you to set up a gain structure to also overdrive the pedal circuit a little bit. You have a lot of control over gain and volume with these two knobs. So far we basically just talked about controls that relate to it as a delay pedal. And here's where it becomes more unique. We have 4 controls that relate to this wow and flutter feature of the pedal. The first one is a threshold control, which determines basically how strong the signal has to be before it will kick in this pitch shifting effect. So if we set a very low, if we set a, let's just say if we set it pretty far counterclockwise, okay, it's going to be really hard to kick in that effect. We would need a very, very strong signal, so we need to hit the strings really hard. In fact, at that setting, I can't even get it to do it. Let's see. Come up a little bit higher. And higher. Now we're starting to hear the pitch shifting kick in. So you have this big range, which is great because you could use very low output or very high output pickups and really fine tune how this thing responds to your playing. If I go all the way clockwise on the threshold, then almost any time I hit the strings, it's going to do the pitch shifting on the repeat. So you got a big musical range there. The warp knob controls the degree to which the pitch is shifted. And it can get pretty extreme. The attack knob controls where in the envelope of the note or the chord the pitch shifting kicks in. If I set it clockwise, the shifting doesn't kick in until pretty late. If I set it counterclockwise, it kicks in right away. And the decay knob determines how the pitch shifting decays, the envelope of the pitch shifting itself. So set high, it stays pitch shifted. If I set it really low, it kicks on and then off again pretty quick. So what you've got here is this really dynamic delay pedal that combines elements of a kind of modulation pedal and a very dynamic one at that, with a really atmospheric delay. And I don't know of anything else like it, and I think I've only just begun to scratch the surface of the possibilities sonically with it. You should get a hold of the folks at Rock and Roll Vintage if this pedal seems appealing and interesting to you, and they will hook you up. Until next time,